I'm right here in I'm not in Fayetteville. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Look, I'm about to go panhandling again. Why? Because it's Saturday and I'm broke. Okay. Look, don't be mad. Don't be mad because I'm flouse. Okay. Look, as long as I get one beer, I'm pretty good, man. I've been guys so good. I have, and God, when I say God, I mean the God of Abraham. I'm not Islamic, Christian, or Muslim. So just, I just believe in Jesus. So, and I believe in him like a gangster. I don't believe in him as like a person that judges your sin. Like, you want to hear how I believe? Okay. You know how, you ever heard that shit where like the church, where the bad, anyways, whoever it is, you go into the church and they're like, if you don't give up all of your riches and turn away from sin, you'll go to hell. Look, not even 13th disciple was allowed. He told him if he didn't give up all of his worldly riches, that he was going to hell. And I was like, that's not what the fuck he said. You know what he said? He said, you have to understand, these motherfuckers were 30 years old, in their prime, getting big. Like, and they were rich, because they were like, Jesus was like a stonemason. Like, he was top dog, And so money was not the issue. Like, his dad had so much money that they could come from here and travel all the way to Egypt, live there, come all the way back, go to India, whatever. And he was like, bro, that's a lot of money. So obviously Joseph he had money. So, he had like a house in the hills of Hollywood. All he told him was, if you take that camel with his gold teeth and then gold hooves and the rubies, we're all fucked. Like they're gonna rob the hell out of us, And he said, look, take your ass back home. It's not MTV crib time, okay? So he's like, not that time. He's like, otherwise you'll be looking like a crib, He's like, we don't do that in our regiment because, we don't even eat crabs. It's like, So, but and I'm not knocking on the creation because sometimes the job is a job, and that's complex, and sometimes that job is necessary. As long as you keep it to an executive order 12333, if they're an American citizen. Big note, big put no check, okay? All day, every day, because I know that's what y'all gotta be into and getting it, I don't know, man, but here's what I want to say. Can we discuss something that I figured out on 305 AM FM PSYOPs? Okay, you make a TAA and you send it to the National Guard and they put it into the mine, into like the pineal gland calcified by fluoride, built into the matrix of big ass like science, okay? So what I was watching is I figured out, somebody told me that that my biological dad was 30% Nigerian, but he's from Morelia, Michoacan, Mexico, but he might be Iranian too. So that's like the Golden Dawn, but they're not on the IBA, the Indian Bureau of Affairs. They are on like the Golden Dawn, okay? Top dog, like satanic military. Watch out, because once they get you, it's terrible. Like you'll be just, you think you'd have schizophrenia or something. Not true. That's just like people that have HIV. They say that their brain is degenerated and because it starts to do. And I don't have HIV, but and if you do, it's not the end of the world. Just enjoy it and just be open about it, and just enjoy it and get your medication as best as possible. But look, here it is. Like like they say that the brain decomposes within itself. And it's just not true. It's science, and it's being used against you through your pineal gland calcified by fluoride. And it's like groups like Ottenwaffen, Hell Rape, Hell AIDS, and Hell Charles Manson. That's their slogan, because they hunt those people, but it's become hacked. And they were only supposed to hunt people that were foreigner, because if you had like a group of like Russians or black people that came here with AIDS, and there were a large community of AIDS, and then they started like raping people, and and started building a gang, and all of them had AIDS, you'd be like, get the fuck out of our country. And they used to in Ottawa because corporate America is not allowed to do that, as long as they didn't have a green card. And because if they got a green card and they're cognitively responsive to America and our doctrinations of being a citizen, that's perfectly fine, and we're not allowed to touch them under Executive Order 12333. But the biggest thing that I've seen is this game that's connected to Meister, Leon Hammons Jr., and maybe his brother and his family, somebody I grew up with, that taught me how to box and speed box, and he was an intelligent man. And what's up, brother? So he was an intelligent man, getting his Pepsi on. Like, I see him, son kissed. And so, anyways, but like, there's a song by Lauryn Hill called "Refugee." The video, if you pay attention, what's going on is it says I'm a refugee from Guantanamo Bay. So, and then he said, I play my operations like chess. Oh yes, but here's what's going on. Here's why that video is so important. what is going on is, and there's a white guy that takes this Boko Haram member. If you look up Force or Violence by Geneva Incorporate, it's within Order 9 Angles FBI Volume Vault 1. And it says that they incorporated Boko Haram for their strength. But then they created a JAS on mappingmilitants.org, which is supposed to be like it's supposed to be, I don't know if the friendship has connections to them, but they might want to check that out, because why in the fuck would you go from Boko Haram to JAS? It's like, because we believe in Islam and we believe in Satanism. I'm like, yeah, but that's why did you just go from like one form of terrorism to like just, oh fuck, now we're terrorists again, you know? So it's like, that's a big fuck up, all right? So, and I don't give a fuck if you don't like it. I'm telling you who the fuck's in charge, and that's me. Telling you you're about to dump on your people, bro. And that's fucking kaboo-boo, all right? So, you're like, just say, that's fucking shat, all right? So here's what's going on in that song. It's a complex game, because I believe in the friendship. The white people that are shaking his hand they're not even fucking Klan members. They came out of the prison system, because I know one of them specifically, and he is not I worked with him in 2017 as my boss foreman at Blythe Construction Incorporated, and I wouldn't ever believe that was him. And it took me 7 years to realize that's motherfucking Robert. And I was like, so here's what's going on. And he told me he used to rob people, and he got put in prison for a long time. And here's what's going on. Daryl thinks that he's a friendship member and that he's using the Beelzebub, and he's supposed to be the devil. So, and he's supposed, but to a friend, because some people that were like rapists, killers, murderers. In fact, some people that were demonized falsely because their father was a clergy member of the Baptist Church, which makes it off of Order 9 Angles FBI Volume Vault 1. If you read it, it says victims. And you would think, well, now that means that they're being helped, and nobody's hurting the Baptists and nobody's hurting the Boko Haram members because they're victims. And it purely says that they're being taken care of. They're fucking victims. So, and that's why I clearly wrote the FBI about this shit. I said, yo, can you please remove that fucking word? Because you're getting criminal victims compensation. So obviously there's the criminals, you got the fucking victim, and then who's getting the compensation? Oh, I guess the fucking criminals. So, you know, and it's murder. So, but in this song, they get a Boko Haram member, because in Order 9 Angles FBI Volume Vault 1, Force of Violence is it's a Boko Haram member. And then it shows a white guy and blowing up a door. Well, it says, I escaped from Guantanamo. So they basically abduct this Boko Haram member that's probably on JAS or some kind of, he's a refugee. He's not even in Boko Haram, but he had previous ties and he's allowed to be out here. And then they let him escape. Now imagine this. The CIA allows him the CIA isn't doing anything illegal. Basically the clandestine members, or basically the Taliban, because the Taliban are in the control of Iran, they're letting him escape because they are now, imagine the Taliban is in charge of Guantanamo Bay. This is true. You don't believe me? Check it. Check Hell's Angels and check out how they because basically there was I believe there was the man that he was following the devil and Satan, and there's 10 books of the Quran that allow you to be a Satanist, that use satanic ideology. So I guess this one guy got real devout, and he truly wanted to change, but he never could, because he was he swore an oath to Satan. So he thought I'm going to go this direction, which makes sense. I'm going to go this direction towards Islam, 10 books, and I'm going to be back with God again as a monotheistic God of the God of Abraham. Not a bad idea, but it's just fucking it's bullshit. So because everybody knows the devil comes from free will. All the shit imagine there's 5, 10, 20 people in front of me. When these people die, their free will separates from themselves until the day of Judgment Day. But their free will collectively becomes the energy for Satan, because that's where Satan came from, because God never created Satan. That's fucking bullshit ideology. God would never do fucking such a thing. It's the free will aspect and a separation from God, because that's free will from us, because we are sons of men. But anyways, the Taliban got with the contra of Iran, and now they're running this weird game about to fuck Daryl, okay? So what's going on is these white people, they got that, because they want bitches, okay? That's never going to change, but they want to believe in God because they're scared of Satan now, because they got a little pussy, So, but that's okay, because I don't believe in Satanism anyways. I'm just telling you how the streets would see it. So here's what happened. They got the Boko Haram member, they let him get away, and then in the music video, he reaches into the Jeep. They're chasing him down. The U.S. Army's chasing him down with this girl, right? They're chasing him down. He reaches for the AK-47 or AK-45, but that's the gun for the Taliban. So during this moment is a crucial thing. He's reaching for the gun. And if he grabs that gun, the U.S. and the Taliban that's sponsoring the Contra already knows they're sponsoring the Taliban now. Because why? he's grabbing that gun to fight them, and it represents he's taking the Taliban as a force of Islam to fight back and buck bats against essentially ISIS. Because they're trying to take over. White people are trying to merge with this shit, and that is a crucial moment when you realize that they're letting this game happen, man. And like and the friendship has to understand they have if it was a Boko Haram member and he's inside the United States of America, they don't have the right to kill him. They have the right to psychotronically harass him and scare him, but then and if he committed suicide, that would be a thing of the order and angles, because they believe in human sacrifice in animal sacrifice to bend the will in the world around them. So they would say, well, that guy that grabbed for that gun, he now became an order 9 angles member, and that's their satanic indoctrination of suicide, because if he believed in it, that's what they believe in. So and to bend in, so they're basically making a gamble, and everybody's within the state has paperwork saying, well, he's a threat now, so all this money builds up because he grabbed that Taliban member through the contract. Now all of our money's going out the fucking door. So, and this happened to me because I believe my dad is 30% Nigerian, and like, I guess these people, it is the weirdest game. But if you realize the iconography, in the end, I think Lauryn Hill did a good TAA, because they go back into the SEAL team, and they go back and like, I guess they get away, and I guess the SEAL Team 6 helps this motherfucker that's being hunted, that's supposed to by all means be a refugee, not a fucking threat, and probably looking like me, but you wouldn't see it because I'm white-ish. But they're like helping the motherfucker get away because he's not a threat. He's a refugee. Imagine if they sent him back to Boko Haram, he would be crucified. That's human rights. That's human rights abuse, And plus, what they're doing to him, psychotronically hunting him down, making him feel threatened. And he's been demonized by a false sect of Satanism that is communist Marxist extremism. And the only reason why it's allowable is because people thought that it was somewhat docile and that the FBI was going to calm it down with Temple of Blood. But if you look at mappingmilitants.org, clearly they are mapping a militant project. Don't be fucking fooled by the label. Just because the state says that it's the police doesn't mean that they don't fuck people up. Even black people know this shit. So, so that's why they went to the FBI, So, but now it's they're mapping a militant project, and this shit has gone too far, Now they're just starting to fuck up motherfucking Americans, and people out here are just too stupid to notice it. Look at this, Hibachi 88. You see the programming? Hibachi, Adolf Hitler. Or, no. It's, 88 stands for the 8th letter, A, B, C, D, E, H. Wait. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Higher Hitler. That's what that stands for, 88. It's programming that's embedded into the mentality, and they probably don't even mean that, But let's be honest, the Japanese did have quite some structure with the Nazis that did protect them, only until their dishonor was in the Vatican, and their dishonor fight was called kamikaze, and that was a fucking Nazi's wet dream, But now we've emerged, and there's a domestication, and you should be proud to be German. You should be proud to be black. You should be proud to be a former member of a tribe that came from, and now they're refugees that are friendly, that are, But can we just admit, SEAL Team 6 needs to get on their fucking shit and stop fucking around like pussies out here. Stop. Don't be blinded by your own ideology, okay? Realize what you're doing to your people. If the Klan can't really get together and understand what the fuck they're doing, then maybe the SEAL Team 6 can. So, but anyways, thank you for listening. And always, drink more and smoke more. And right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Wait. All right. The Raleigh, North Carolina.